is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make sense.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of every Welcome.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got
read history. It's God's side and the other side.
Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good. Uber cabbage and look like Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't want to be a movie star.
No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act. Cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie. And you gotta tell him no. Sid ain't got no special, you remember? Eve ain't got no special, you remember? Ricky ain't got no special, you remember? Sir, I have 12 comedy specials. P. Diddy or whoever you is. TVJ, 20 of them. I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. Rubble on top of rubble and I'll still be bombing. Look like a wall, Richard. Look like a wall. You didn't say no. Look like a wall, Richard. Look like a wall. You didn't say no.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. As per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so let's get into it. That Crazy Beach Aries, Claudette, Miss AP, AJ Matthews, Pearly, Anita Harrell, Nessie X, Sandra, Juju said the Queen is queening. Thank you. All right, April is in the house. Let's get it started. All right, everyone, please get those likes up. I see the lovely T, Deronda, Priscilla, 504, Nola. All right, so honey, let me just tell you all what's going on here. They're saying that your president's going to have to step down. Yeah, they're saying Biden's going to have to step down. But first of all, Biden is mad. Okay, let's talk about it because Biden left feeling angry and betrayed by top Democratic leaders wavering on his campaign. This is all so nefarious. The president is furious at how the party has tried to force him out, according to sources, at least two. So as Democrats in Congress increasingly believe the question is when, not if, this will end his campaign. You know, because they say Biden has COVID again. They say he has it again. So let's get into it. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. I'm going to share my screen. It looks like Biden's going down for the count. That's all I'm saying. Pearly said, get his ace out of there. Okay. It looks like he's going down for the count, beloved. Sad to say. Sad to say, honey. Please pay attention. Let me put an overlay on this. Y'all are so nefarious. Y'all knew Biden was on his last leg, and they did too. I don't know why they try to play games. I don't know why they tried to play these games.
President Biden is in self-isolation, both literally and politically, after testing positive for COVID. In a new letter, his doctor saying he has just mild symptoms and no fever, all while the walls seem to be closing in on his campaign. Even some of his most defiant backers privately say the pressure to drop out is getting too intense. We're close to the end, a person close to the president tells NBC News. Another person who spoke to a senior campaign official saying they're finally realizing it's a when, not if. But the president is still moving forward. In a radio interview conducted right before he was tested for COVID yesterday, his cough is evident as he addresses public questions about his age.
Well, what happens when he's 84 years old? What happens when he's 85 years old? I was smart enough to know with age comes wisdom.
Still, tonight, new pressure to leave the race from powerful Democrats. Two sources tell NBC News former President Obama has concerns about President Biden's ability to stay at the top of the ticket. One source saying Mr. Obama sees President Biden's path to winning as getting harder. And citing multiple sources, CNN reports former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi privately told President Biden polling shows he cannot defeat former President Trump and could destroy Democrats' chances of winning the House. A Pelosi spokesperson would only confirm she has not spoken to the president since Friday. And in a meeting with the president Saturday, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer also shared recent polling data showing Biden trailing Mr. Trump in what two sources familiar with the meeting called a blunt conversation. Tonight, though, the president still has the support of top Democrat Jim Clyburn.
I'm riding with Biden, and that's not going to change. What would it take for me to change my mind? It would take him changing his.
Publicly, the White House and campaign are aggressively pushing back against Democratic leaders trying to push the president out.
Obviously, our campaign disagrees about the path to victory not being there.
Late today, a source close to the president telling NBC News in 2015, Obama, Pelosi, Schumer pushed Biden aside in favor of Hillary. They were wrong then, and they are wrong now. With her running mate sidelined, it is Vice President Harris on the trail, visiting battleground North Carolina and vowing to fight.
Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win.
And Gabe, there have been more troubling signs for the president regarding major donors. Tell us about that.
Yes, Lester, a person with knowledge of the projections tells NBC News the Biden campaign now expects it will raise only 25% of the big donor money it had planned for in July. This person says the money has dried up. Lester?
At to make this the summer event, take a vacation.
Now that they said the money has dried up, this is all crazy. Oh, well, you know, it's got to be very disheartening for Biden, seeing as how his own party doesn't even have faith in him, okay? They've pretty much already determined that if he does indeed run, he's going to lose. Now, imagine your own party saying that. I find it also interesting. Biden may as well just go sit down somewhere because this isn't gonna get any better. And then listen to Kabami sitting up there talking about it. When we fight, we win. First of all, this is the most that we've heard from her in the last 4 years. Okay. This is the most we have heard from Kabami in the last 4 years. Where has she been all this time? Okay. I thought I was going to have to put out an APB. She needs to sit down somewhere. But anyway, Biden now supposedly has another bout of COVID. So anyway, it's looking pretty bad. They say, how did all of this work out for everyone? Hold on, pop-ups. How did all this work out for everyone in 2016? Perhaps we should learn a few lessons from 2016. One of them is polls are BS. You just asked Secretary Clinton. And two, maybe, just maybe, Joe Biden is more in touch with actual Americans than Obama, Pelosi, and Schumer. Please. Okay, I'm sorry. Say what? Biden looks like he's just a spectacle at this point. Now, the Democratic leader's silence has left Biden weakened and alone, creating a vacuum that Democrats have filled with a constant stream of doubts and questions. Not a constant stream of doubts and questions. If I was Biden, I would just leave at this point, okay? Not only do Democrats fear a defeat to Trump if the situation doesn't change, some also fear a drag on the ticket that could deliver Trump unchecked power in the form of submissive Republican majorities in Congress. For Biden and his team, it has forced near daily denials and increasingly combative interactions with the media. That's because they're mad. I mean, the truth, after all, does hurt. The president has also tightened his circle of advisors to only a few people that he trusts. Reached out for comment, the campaign referred NBC News to Deputy Campaign Manager Quentin Folks. His remarks Thursday, vowing that Biden is staying in the race, saying he's not wavering on anything. This is what he said in Milwaukee. Our campaign is moving forward, drawing a vision and a contrast between that of Project 2025 and what we've seen for the past 3 years here in Milwaukee, the extreme agenda of Republicans. And that's where our focus is. There are no plans being made to replace President Biden on the ballot. And President Biden is cognizant this is a margin of error race. Let me tell y'all something. I absolutely think that they want to replace him. And in fact, I got one of those robocalls the other day, yesterday, in fact, one of those robo texts about Gavin Newsom. I find it all interesting, but let me continue. Because remember, they were talking about a few weeks ago, replacing Biden with Gavin Newsom, okay? Nancy Pelosi's nephew, governor of California. But anyway, goes on to say, Schumer, when asked, has said publicly, I'm with Joe. Okay, Jeffrey said in a recent letter that he shared with Biden the full breadth of views among House Democrats. And Pelosi has said it's Biden's decision to make. All three have made it clear they will support Biden if he runs without telling colleagues to tamp down their skepticism. For his party, it has created a sense of purgatory. Biden has insisted repeatedly and emphatically that he isn't leaving the race. But many Democrats refuse to take no for an answer, with a steady trickle of calls for him to step down and the lukewarm remarks from party leaders fueling a belief across the party that the matter isn't closed. On Thursday night, Senator John Tester of Montana, one of the party's most vulnerable members seeking re-election, became the second senator and the 22nd Democrat in Congress to call on Biden to exit the race. Though they are scattered across the country during congressional recess, Democrats are coalescing around the idea that it's not a matter of if Joe Biden steps down as their nominee, but when, according to multiple sources who shared the sentiments. So they say, we're preparing. This is what one Democratic member said, speaking on the condition of anonymity. A Democratic strategist said many in the party are growing impatient with the vacuum and are eager for the intra-party fight to end, a sentiment echoed by Hill lawmakers since the debate. Said, I just want a decision. Now, some fear the squabbling is drowning out their message against Trump. We've got to have this settled sooner than later because I want to campaign. We have the better candidates, the fundraising momentum, and the issues on our side. So let's get it done. Let's get at it. Now, the sooner we get this behind us, the sooner we're going to get back to campaigning and focusing on winning. It has already sparked a peculiar set of dynamics for Democrats across the ideological spectrum. There are battleground states and districts that are reluctant to break with Biden for fear of alienating his loyal supporters. Progressives are successfully seizing the moment to push Biden to embrace some of their policy ideas, like expanding Social Security, eliminating medical debt, and slapping term limits and ethnic rules on the Supreme Court. A series of leaks Wednesday night about Biden's private discussions with congressional leaders, as well as reporting from NBC News on Thursday afternoon that Biden's world is bracing for the possibility that he will step aside, didn't go unnoticed by lawmakers, and it ratcheted up an already intense situation in the party. Several in the party have pointed to Pelosi as someone who has moved the progress or the process along behind the scenes, saying they had to be handled very delicately. And I think Pelosi has done a masterful job as a tactician, a Democratic official said. Like, could this all have been sped up in a week? But Pelosi made clear with her non-answers where she was going. And it did take time to see more polling and subsequent appearances. Okay, so what do you all think? I mean, Biden's mad. He can be mad all he wants. At the end of the day, that debate was a debacle. And since then, we've seen him stuttering and stammering over words. And now he's fallen ill. Yeah, this is not a good look. Okay, it looks like he needs to step down. After all, I mean, save himself the trouble. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, let me go to this video of 45. Because 45 is just a whole mess. Did you all see that video where Trump had that bandage that he's using to garner sympathy and empathy? I mean, he's really milking this assassination attempt for all that it's worth. But did you all see the video where he, in fact, had the bandage on the wrong ear? And it looks as if Byron Donaldson's telling him that it's on the wrong ear. This is all so crazy. Please pay attention. I mean, the shenanigans continue. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Oh, I'm already sharing it. Hold on. Let me start the audio. Now come on, Trump. Now, come on, Trump. Now, you can't even keep your ears straight. You don't even remember which ear the bandage is supposed to be on. That big old bandage is clearly up there just for attention. I find it all so interesting. Trump is a whole mess. Okay? And if you thought that was funny, that crazy bitch Eric said thuggish ruckus Trump. Timber Dan said, Queen, did you see that others in the crowd were wearing it? No, I didn't. But look at this, because I thought this was ridiculous too. I'm like, what is going on here? This is all so nefarious. Let me show you all this video. Like, what in the world is this female Secret Service agent doing? Is she new on the job? Is this her first time at the rodeo? Or in fact, is she just an actress? I mean, I have a whole lot of questions. Please pay attention. Now look at this. Watch how she's trying to put her gun in the holster. Just can't quite seem to get it.
After Secret Service Barbie, a highly trained member of the Secret Service, removes her weapon from its holster for the very first time in her career. She struggles to return her pea shooter as though it's her first day on the job. Fortuitously, her skills from a previous life as an amateur actress come into play, allowing her to convincingly mimic the swift draw of the weapon and scan the horizon for threats. Chewing her gum nonchalantly, she attempts to exude a tactical demeanor, reminiscent of a fusion between the Blues Brothers and Rosie O'Donnell. Despite her efforts, our agent's attempt to return her wireless hole punch to its home results in another failure. While she may have faltered at this most basic of tasks, she certainly looked cool while doing it.
Woo. That was a hole punch. That wasn't a gun. That was a hole punch that she had in her hand. This is all crazy. What's really going on? What is really going on? Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that the banks are offline. This was breaking news. My moderator sent to me. Now listen to this. How to access money if your bank is offline due to the widespread technology outage. Okay. Didn't I tell you all this stuff was going to start happening? Hold on. It's all crazy. Let me share my screen so you all can see this. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. They always have something going on. The devil stay busy. Hold on, beloveds.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience.
This is breaking news on WDSU.
All right, we have new details about that major breaking news story, a tech outage impacting flights, banks, media outlets, and other agencies around the world. Cybersecurity company CrowdStrike just issued a statement saying the issue has been identified, isolated, and most importantly, a fix has been deployed.
So to kind of give you a little background here, this company in particular sells antivirus software to companies like Microsoft and other large corporations, as well as government clients. We're now learning this outage is even impacting people's ability to buy groceries and gas. So if you're waking up, if there's a tech issue you're dealing with, this is probably the cause. One expert says it appears an update may have been rolled out globally without proper testing. This all started shortly after midnight, but CrowdStrike has not addressed the ongoing outage, possibly linked to its software, but unfortunately, it's having crippling impacts at airports across the country, including ours here at home.
Yeah, WDSU reporter Anam Siddiqui joining us live from Armstrong International, where she has been all morning. Anam, we know the situation is really seemingly unprecedented. What does it look like right now?
Ladies, people are frustrated. I'll show you the line for Spirit here. This is the ticket booth, and this line just continues to stretch. One family over here we spoke with say that they've been waiting to just check in their bags for over an hour now. Also, the United line will show you that that's also continuing to stretch. I know United is one of the airlines that posted a statement that they're working to restore this system. And I spoke with one person whose early morning flight, which with United got canceled. He didn't even find out until he got here to check in. Another woman I spoke with, she's waiting in line for an hour now. She's nervously checking her phone for updates, just hoping that all of this doesn't impact her flight. Take a listen to what she has to say.
They were saying that it is an IT error. They said that all across the world, Microsoft has shut down, and the computers, they aren't working. It shows up as a blue screen.
And again, many of these check-in lines just continue to grow since we've been here since about 4:45 this morning. Now, I have made calls, emails, and text messages to MSY officials, just waiting to get an update for you all. Now, my recommendation, if you can get here early because of these issues that it seems like continue to grow here at MSY. But for now, I'll send it back to you all in the studio.
I'd be fearful to go to the airport even at all.
Oh, absolutely. I might just delay my flight a day or something, but hopefully that fix in the works and will be fixed quickly.
All right, so how convenient. How convenient, okay? It's always something. Like I said, the devil stay busy. And so hopefully that's not going to affect any of you. All right, so let's continue. So revelations raise questions about Secret Service's actions in the shooting. So 4 new revelations, they say. Okay, phone calls this week between lawmakers, excuse me, and the heads of the Secret Service and the FBI have done little to quell a growing litany of questions as to what actions law enforcement officers did and didn't take that led to an assassination attempt on former President Trump. Now, new admissions that the Secret Service had flagged gunman Thomas Matthew Crooks as suspicious and a possible threat more than an hour before the Saturday shooting. Now, I find that interesting because why was he still there? Now, they say this was an hour before the Saturday shooting and that Trump was still allowed on stage, and this has all placed intense heat on the agency. So if they identified someone as suspicious, that means they saw him and knew he was there. Why was he still there, first of all, and why was Trump allowed to still go on the stage? Now, with more questions than answers at this point, Republicans have intensified calls for Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle's removal. Cheadle so far has refused to step down, with the agency asserting continuity of operations is paramount during a critical incident, according to a statement issued late Wednesday. Now, here are the 4 revelations. Okay, almost an hour between person of interest and threat. Now, one of the most explosive discoveries this week revealed law enforcement has identified Crooks as a person of interest at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally 62 minutes before the gunman fired several shots at Trump. Crooks, 20 years old, of the Pittsburgh suburb of Bethel Park, drove roughly 35 miles north to the Trump rally with an AR-style weapon, climbed a building just outside of the event's perimeter, and fired several shots at Trump. Now, 1 bullet grazed Trump's ear, and 1 spectator was shot and killed, and 2 others were injured. It's now known that Crooks visited the rally site July the 7th to scout out the location and also visited in the morning of the rally. Cheadle and FBI Director Christopher Wray told senators in a half-hour conference call on Wednesday. Now, Crooks later returned and was eyed by authorities around 5:10 p.m. Before law enforcement spotted him with a rangefinder at 5:30 p.m., sending a radio alert to a command post. Now, local law enforcement and Secret Service agents then tried to locate Crooks, but he was not spotted again until roughly 5:52 p.m., when the shooter was seen on the roof by an agency counter sniper positioned on the rooftops immediately in the vicinity of the stage. Trump took the stage 10 minutes later and talked for several minutes until around 6:09 p.m. Now, those in the crowd who noticed Crooks crawling across the roof began to try to alert law enforcement to the gunman, according to multiple videos posted to social media, and also according to witnesses who were there on site. Now, it would be another 2 minutes after that, at approximately 6:11 p.m., when Crooks fired his first shots. Secret Service returned fire less than 30 seconds later, killing him. Now, the next revelation: Trump allowed on stage 10 minutes after hunt for shooter began. Lawmakers are frustrated in particular about why Trump was allowed on the rally stage after law enforcement became aware of a suspicious person in the area. In a stunning scene Wednesday, a group of GOP senators, including John Barrasso, the chamber's number 3 Republican, Kevin Cramer, and Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, chased the Secret Service director on the floor at the Republican National Convention on Wednesday. The lawmakers loudly accused her of refusing to answer questions about the assassination attempt, according to videos posted to social media. Now, I want you all to pay attention because this reeks of the Secret Service being in on it, just like I told you in my dream. Now, Kramer later told CNN he and other lawmakers specifically want to know why Trump was allowed on that stage after the potential threat was discovered at the rally. The Secret Service has not yet revealed its thinking and decision-making process as to why the rally was allowed to proceed. The shooter was identified as a suspicious character, a full 1 hour before the shooting occurred, had a rangefinder, a backpack, and then they lost sight of him and never really followed up on that. This is what Barrasso said in an interview. Okay, this was hours before. Yeah, so please make this make sense. Okay? Please make it all make sense. It definitely sounds like something suspicious was afoot. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on just a second. I'm going to see if they have this footage of Barrasso. Yeah, here he is right here. Hold on, beloveds. I'm going to share my screen. Share my screen real quick. Because I have
how a gunman was able to get close enough to shoot former President Trump. One of the major remaining questions is how was the roof of the building that the shooter shot from not properly guarded? What are we learning?
Yeah, that is a really huge question. And I think so far the explanations offered by the Secret Service have not satisfied many people, maybe hasn't satisfied anyone. One of the issues or one of the rationales being put forward is that Secret Service personnel couldn't have been stationed on top of that roof because it's a sloping roof. That explanation, I think, has received widespread mockery, if not disdain. And so there is clearly a lot of questions for Secret Service to answer here in relation to that point and in relation to the general picture where this shooter was able to get these shots off from a comparatively close range against former President Trump.
All right, that's all I got. Niall, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. All very interesting as far as I'm concerned. Please pay attention. Now let's continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. So they say questions still swirl. Questions still swirl as to the reasoning behind no officers being sent to the roof of the building. The gunman climbed ahead. The gunman climbed ahead of the rally start, even after Crooks was flagged in the area. See, that makes no sense. Now, Cheadle earlier this week said no agent was placed on top of the building in earlier planning because it had a sloped roof, citing safety dangers. Instead, a decision was made to secure the building from inside. How crazy is that? So rather than have someone on the roof when Trump's going to be outside giving the speech, you have people inside the building? Like, how does that even make any sense at all? This is clearly crazy. And local police had informed the Secret Service that it did not have the manpower to fully secure the building. Didn't have the manpower. They should have had that all taken care of weeks in advance, including placing a patrol car outside the structure, according to District Attorney Richard Goldinger of Butler County. Now, local law enforcement instead placed 3 snipers inside the building, one of who spotted Crooks and took a picture of him as he scanned the building. Now, y'all, please tell me how this is making any sense. This all sounds nefarious. So you mean to tell me they didn't hire 3 whole snipers, but rather than have them outside where they can snipe if they see someone doing something that they have no business or being suspicious, they put them inside the building? Like, how's that's going to work? And then, because the problem is that someone who's a potential threat or danger, they're going to likely be outside because that's where Trump is. This is all so stupid and sounds like a load of BS. And then they go on to say that he scanned the building and then took a picture. He spotted Crooks and took a picture of him. That's what he did. A whole sniper. Can you imagine? Yeah, I got my sniper now. But you're going to take a picture of the man. That's what you did. Please make it all make sense. But anyway, I digress. Clearly shenanigans. Okay, like I told you all. Now later, after a threat seemed more concrete, an officer tried to access the roof with the help of a colleague who boosted him up. Now, according to Butler Township Manager Tom Knights, now the officer scaled the side of the building to try to see Crooks, who pointed a rifle at him. This is all so ridiculous. Please pay attention. Now, the shooter actually turned towards him and pointed his weapon at the officer. The officer took a defensive position to duck. He lost his grip on the roof, fell approximately 8 feet to the ground, and was injured. I know he was injured. And then listen to how they try to word it, try to make it seem like the officer wasn't scared as hell, because they say the shooter actually turns toward him and pointed his weapon at the officer. The officer took a defensive position to duck. Yeah, he ducked and dropped, okay? And the reason he dropped is because he was so befuddled that as he was stepping back and trying to duck, he just fell off the roof. Now, I'm not poking fun at him, but that's clearly what happened in my opinion. But let me continue. Now, both of these officers involved in the attempt both radioed indicating that, yeah, there's somebody on the roof and yes, he's armed. Moments later, however, the individual commenced firing, says Knights in a separate statement. I know he did. After he saw those officers. Now, 5 days after Crooks attempted to kill Trump, federal investigators seemed no closer to understanding the gunman's motives, because the gunman was a patsy, in my opinion. Cheeto Ray and the FBI Deputy Director Paul Abates, who briefed the House and Senate by phone Wednesday, told lawmakers that there was still no clear reasoning they could see for Crooks to climb onto a roof and shoot at the presidential candidate, according to lawmakers. Now, authorities now know Crooks, who purchased an ammunition box at a Walmart on July the 5th, 2 days after the rally was announced, had images of both Trump and President Biden on one of his cell phones, according to the news. Now, lawmakers also told CNN the phone had pictures of congressional leaders, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, as well as politicians Rudy Giuliani, Trump's former attorney, involved in the effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election, and Fonnie Willis, the Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney, currently prosecuting Trump and Giuliani. Now, the briefers noted Crooks was using encrypted communications platforms that have yet to penetrate, according to The Hill. Now, the shooter's home also has been a dead end as to political or ideological information about Crooks, but Abates reportedly telling lawmakers in the briefings that the FBI had not found such evidence there. Now, senators were told Crooks had another phone that was found at his home that contained just 27 contacts, which FBI agents are now going down the line and attempting to interview. His laptop's search history, meanwhile, included dates of the Democratic National Convention, future Trump events, and searches about major depression disorder. Okay, the officials told lawmakers, according to multiple reports. Now, investigators have been searching for more clues as to what Crooks, a registered Republican who had donated to a progressive campaign in 2021, was doing in the weeks, days, and hours leading up to his assassination attempt. But the digital and physical trails had proved frustratingly limited, with nobody yet interviewed reporting Crooks discussing politics. I don't know. This is all very suspicious. Something clearly is afoot. Okay, please pay attention. At the end of the day, something clearly is afoot. He had on some slippery Stacey Adams, says AJ Matthews. Okay. Lady Painter said, Queen, your delivery is way better than Lisa Cabrera, though she got up at 1 a.m. this morning to get the up. She didn't get up to get the ups on Be Beloved. She's always posting that time of night or that time of morning. That's my sister, honey. Okay. But now, with that all being said, let's continue. Let's continue. Now, it goes on to say that, hold on, let me pull this up. The lady's not going to step down, okay? The Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheeto, she is not going to step down. But anyway, they say Texas representative produces a bill to bar federal bailouts for states that implement reparations. So let's talk about this, because this is something that really gets on my nerves. They want to talk about everything other than reparations. The Democrats want to get out here and just give us a load of BS, right? And then just continue to give us benign neglect. Don't give us anything tangible. Get upset when we ask about it. And here's why. Because nobody other than us really wants us to get reparations. And they'll say we're asking for handouts and all of this foolishness. But so let's talk about it, because they actually introduced a bill to bar federal bailouts of states. Okay. And I told you all this before, like last year. That's one of the, and let's not forget how the NAACP, now once in the chat, if you all remember this. Okay. Overthought says it's Manchurian candidate. It's Manchurian candidate-esque. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm just wondering if it was MK Ultra that was used or the voice of God technology. I'm going to go with the latter. That's what I think on that young man. Now, with that all being said, Mr. Elevation said exactly, Queen. Okay, thank you. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about it, because remember how the NAACP in California was against the reparations in the amount of $5 million for the people of California that were descendants of slaves. Do you all remember that? Do y'all remember that? The nerve of them. Now, are they working for or against us? You should be asking yourselves. Okay? You should be asking yourselves. Let's talk about it. San Francisco NAACP criticized the city over reparations. Yeah. Now, remember, this was last year in March. So here's what they did. The NAACP criticized San Francisco how they've been handling the cash payment feature of its reparations plan and accused the city of giving Black residents false hope. Yeah, this is what they said. And so the NAACP says they want to see more details on San Francisco's reparations plan. Now, the organization's San Francisco branch held a press conference at the Third Baptist Church. It was led by Reverend Amos Brown, the president of the San Francisco NAACP and pastor of the Third Baptist Church. Now, they say the organization supports the efforts, but criticized how the city is handling the draft plan. According to the San Francisco NAACP, the much talked about lump sum of $5 million payments is not likely to be put into action by the city and is therefore giving Black residents of San Francisco false hopes. Now, how do they know what was going to be put in plan? But they didn't want it to be put in plan. Please pay attention. That's why they were saying all of this. They say not one member of that board said we support reparations with cash payments and with a definite plan of how to do it and a timeline of how to do it, says Brown. Now, a draft of that plan put out by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee in December currently has over 100 recommendations of how San Francisco can address the legacies of systemic racism in the city. Now, some of the most notable are a one-time payment of $5 million to eligible adults, guaranteed annual incomes of at least $97,000 and $1 homes for African American families. The organization added that it supports cash payments, but called the $5 million an arbitrary number in a news release. It says the payment should be a public rationale for the dollar amount and a method of how the money will be allocated. Now, the Board of Supervisors accepted the recommendations of the Reparations Advisory Committee on Tuesday, although that does not at all. I'm sorry, typos. That does not at all. The recommendations will be put into place. I think it's supposed to say that is not all of the recommendations that will be put in place. Now, the board can vote to approve, reject, or change any of them, okay, or all of them. The Reparations Advisory Committee plans to submit its complete report in June. So, yeah, they were basically saying, stop giving them false hope because you know darn well you're not going to give them $5 million. And if you were, where would you get that money from? Where would it be allocated from? This is what they're saying. Now, I find it all interesting because, first of all, $5 million isn't a lot for the things that we've gone through. Excuse me. We're not just talking about slavery. We're talking about Jim Crow. We're talking about the race riots, the bombing of Oklahoma City or Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. We're talking about Rosewood. We're talking about all of these things. We're talking about medical genocide. We're talking about sterilizing people who look like me in this country from 1930. I believe it was from 1938 until the 1970s. Sterilization was legal. And they would do it to the people that they felt were degenerates, were not worthy of making such decisions. They even sterilized a 13-year-old Black teenager, 13 years old. We are owed reparations for all of that. And not to mention other nefarious things, okay? So please. But anyway, this is what y'all's NAACP said, is all I'm saying. They rejected it. But now let's talk about this bill. Let's talk about this bill. And so they say, hold on, I'm going to go to this video. No, I'm just going to read this and then I'll show a video later. Hold on. Now it says a Texas GOP House member introduced a bill to block federal bailouts for states or municipalities that implement reparations programs. Now, Texas Republican Representative Brian Babin introduced the No Bailouts for Reparations Act last week. Okay, now mind you, this is from last year, 2023. Okay, which would prohibit federal bailouts or financial assistance from going to states or municipalities operating programs giving reparations for slavery. He was very specific. He didn't just say for giving reparations, but he specified for slavery, meaning that they don't want it to go to Black people. Anyone else can get reparations. Okay, now, American taxpayers shouldn't be forced to pay for radical race-based reparation payments to please the woke left. This is what Babin said. This is what American taxpayers, I want you to pay attention. Every time it's a conversation about giving us reparations, these racist devils always want to try to say taxpayers shouldn't have to do it. It doesn't have to come from taxpayers. In this country, they can literally print money out of thin air, okay, at the Federal Reserve. But let me continue. Now, my bill ensures that government entities enacting reparation laws based on race, ethnicity, national origin, or slavery cannot receive federal bailouts. You see, this is what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was lying about when he was asked, when he was on Tasha K's show, if he supported reparations for the descendants of slaves. He said that there's a new bill that makes it illegal to give reparations for systemic racism that happened after the Civil War. Well, first of all, we were talking about slavery, which was before the Civil War. And so therefore, he just tried to slide that in. And I was surprised that nobody seemed to have noticed that. Okay. But for one, it is not illegal to give reparations to the descendants of slaves. But let me continue. Now, I mean, he could have just said, no, I don't want y'all to get reparations. Okay, that's what he should have just said. Just tell it like it is. Anyway, goes on to say that according to Babin's bill, the U.S. government, including the Federal Reserve System and independent agencies, may not provide any loan, grants, or other form of financial assistance to the government of any state or political subdivision thereof, or any agency or instrumentality of such a state or political subdivision that enacts into law any program proving or providing reparations on the basis of slavery, race, ethnicity, national origin, or historical practices related thereto. The bill also shall not only apply to the unit of government so enacting a reparations program. Okay, so not only apply to the unit of government, so enacting a reparations program. Now, back in the bill are 13 of Babin's GOP colleagues, including fellow Texas Representative Troy Nehls and Roddy Jackson, Representative Burgess Owens of Utah as well, and Representative Scott Franklin in Florida. Wow, this is all interesting. Babin's bill comes as the subject of reparations is being pushed in several states and cities, okay, including California and Atlanta, the most populated county in perhaps the country's most important swing state, is taking on the fraught subject of reparations. And one of its task force members tells Fox News Digital its mission is part of the why the United States is unique in the world. In Fulton County, Georgia, the task force has been appropriated $250,000 to investigate the county's past and whether it should financially atone for past transgressions against its Black populations. Saying, of all places I've been, I've never been anywhere where the society has taken such a change, has taken such an effort in blood and treasure correcting past wrongs. This is what task force member Mike Russell told Fox News Digital. And I'm very proud of that as an American. The system is not perfect. I would never tell anyone that. But I tell people this all the time. Folks leave places where everybody looks exactly like them and are literally dying to get there. There is a reason for that. And that is because the United States still is a land of opportunity. And we have done a tremendous job, not a perfect job, a tremendous job of correcting past wrongs. Okay, well, I find this all interesting because they're sitting up here trying to just make sure that black folk don't get anything. Who is this Representative Babin? Okay, who is this Representative Babin? Let's see what he looks like. Let's pull his face up on the screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Brian Babin, here we go. I mean, this is exactly what I expected him to look like, quite frankly. That's him there. That's Mr. Babin there. Anita says NAACP probably getting paid to tell us no reparations. If they tell us yes, the payments will stop. Well, of course. And let's not forget who started the NAACP. Not even people who look like us. So absolutely, that's what they're doing. Okay, they don't care if we get it or not because they're already getting paid, like you said. So with that all being said, it's very interesting. Now it goes on to say that the panel is investigating the country's ties to slavery. What properties the county may have confiscated. What properties the county may have confiscated illegally from black owners and the use of illegal prison labor from the county's confinement facilities. Now, to piece together the historical record, they're relying on documents like land, leases, prison records, and private citizens coming forward with family documents. There is also the politics of the situation. Reparations are a highly divisive topic. Let me tell y'all something. Every time it comes to talking about reparations for black folk, they always want to say it's divisive. It wasn't divisive when they gave it to people whose atrocities didn't happen right here. It wasn't divisive when they gave it to the Japanese. It wasn't divisive when they gave it to the Italians. It wasn't divisive when they gave it to the Native Americans. Okay, not the Native Americans that look like me, who are indigenous to this land, but the other Native Americans. It wasn't divisive then. It wasn't divisive when they sent all those billions of dollars over there to Ukraine. Now they want to talk about divisive. Isn't that what Bernie Sanders also said? Oh, it's divisive. That's how he says it's divisive. Why is it divisive or divisive when it's for black folk? Because people be hating on us all the time. Goes on to say, reparations are a highly divisive topic, with many opponents saying the topic seeks only to divide races further and is unfair to modern people who have committed no wrongdoing. Who have what? Who have committed no wrongdoing. Well, here's the thing. Speaking of have committed no wrongdoing, how many of the exonerations of people wrongly convicted sent to prison for years and decades, even for things to which they did not do, and then later only for them to be exonerated? How many of those people are black? More than 40%. That's how many. Okay, let's talk about wrongdoings. How many black folk have lost their lives at traffic stops? Okay. That were not criminals, just regular people moving on in their everyday lives, but they lost their lives at traffic stops by police officers who were overzealous and racist in many cases. Let's talk about wrongdoings. Let's talk about the airman who recently lost his life because the police went to the wrong door, even though they want to lie and say they didn't, but they went to the wrong door, knocked on that man's door, and when he opened it with his service weapon or his weapon that he had a right to be holding because he was licensed to carry it, and he had it down by his side, not pointed at anyone, clearly not putting anyone in imminent danger, but he lost his life because of a scary, arse, overzealous cop. Let's talk about no wrongdoing, shall we? I find it also interesting and nefarious at the same time. Now, the Fulton County Board was not unanimous, voting 4-3 to fund the task force in January. Fox News contributor Leo Terrell called a reparations push in California unconstitutional and outrageous. Not that he said, and he has to be black with a name like Leo Terrell. He said a reparations push in California is unconstitutional and outrageous. Let me just look up Mr. Leo Terrell because I can tell by that name that he's one of my people. I'm pretty sure. Fox contributor. Hold on. Some of these people, honey, is a whole. Yes, of course he's black. Of course he's black. Sometimes it be your own people. Look at this. Look at this right here. This is who said it. Outrageous is what he called it. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, that's him in all his glory. All right. He said it is outrageous and unconstitutional. That's what he said. Ooh, honey. Let's hear him say that. Okay. Let me see if I can find it where he actually says that. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Hold on. I think this might be it. Hold on, beloveds. Not outrageous. And unconstitutional. I mean, who does he sound like? He's not like us. All right. He is not like us, honey. Please pay attention. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen.
What took you so long? I'm sorry. There was a long line at the Thai place.
You get the sauce I like?
Of course.
You're the man.
I wish.
The future isn't scary. Not investing in it is. NASDAQ 100 Innovators, 1 ETF. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
Well, despite California running at least a $47 billion budget deficit and the nation's highest unemployment rate of at least 5.3%, Governor Gavin Newsom and Democrat leaders announced Saturday that they're going to set aside $12 million of the budget to help the state implement a series of reparations-related bills that lawmakers hope will pass a little later this year. Does it make any sense? Let's welcome to the show Fox News contributor, civil rights attorney, and I believe, if I'm still not wrong, you're a resident still of California. Isn't that right, Leo?
Just until this year, until this election, then I got to leave because it's crazy here, David.
Well, what about this reparations deal? I mean, it's going into debt up to its eyeballs now because of Gavin Newsom's spending and everything else he's doing, driving businesses out. Does it make sense for a reparations bill now?
No, we're $47 billion in the hole, and they set aside $12 million, David, for the Black Legislative Caucus. Why? So they can keep talking about reparations. I want to be very clear to the Fox viewers. California will never issue reparations to Black Americans. Why? We don't deserve it. California was never a slave state. David, there's not a single Black American in California who wakes up and talks to me about reparations. They talk about inflation and the economy and high gas prices. This is talking points to keep the Democrats talking about this so Black can remain with the Democrat Party. It will not work.
Well, and by the way, 12 million is a pittance. The estimates of if it ever did get through some legislator at some point, this could cost up to $800 billion. That's how much money we're talking about. That's way beyond anything that the state could afford, right?
The budget is only $297 billion. So it's almost two and a half times the size of the California budget. It will never happen. Mark my words, save this tape. California will never issue reparations, or that will be the defeat of the Democrat Party in California.
And getting to your point that it's simply not fair when you consider the history of California and what California is now. Here's a state assemblywoman, Kate Sanchez, talking about that. Roll tape.
The majority of our state is Latino and Asian, making up 55% of our population. It is fundamentally unfair to force these people to pay for this.
You know, the bottom line is the reason you're in debt, as I mentioned, the spending, but it is also the fact that with the high taxes and all of the regulations that the government's putting out there, you have so many businesses losing. You have a tax drain in the state that's as deep as the Grand Canyon.
You're right. I mean, we have a progressive tax system. The rich people had a bad year. So therefore, our budget depends on the wealth of the wealthy in this state. It was a bad year, the economy. But guess what? Social programs are still in play. More money for the homeless, David. The homeless budget is out of control. Yeah. And what? We have more homeless people in California. It makes no sense.
Spending more money and getting less of an effect. That makes absolutely no sense. Leo Terrell, great to see you again. Thank you for being here.
Okay, so they love to hear those type of Negroes talking. They love their talking points. Oh, he was so excited to have him there. Was he not? And then both of them sitting up their front and pretending that they give a darn about the homeless crisis, okay? We have all these homeless people. Please sit down somewhere, sir. And then he said we didn't deserve it because California didn't have slaves. Well, here's the thing. There were, in fact, some people who were free in California that look like me, who were kidnapped by people who don't look like me in California and taken down south to be forced into slaves. If you saw the movie 12 Years a Slave, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Queen Amani Hewitt said, Uncle Ruckus, okay? Now, you know, any person who looks like me, of my skin tone, if you're on Fox News Digital, all right, please pay attention. And you're one of their contributors, yeah, we already know what you're talking about. Now, let's go to this other video of this man going in about reparations. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Today, when asked about reparations, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell offered a familiar reply. America should not be held liable for something that happened 150 years ago, since none of us currently alive are responsible. This rebuttal proffers a strange theory of governance, that American accounts are somehow bound by the lifetime of its generations. But well into this century, the United States was still paying out pensions to the heirs of Civil War soldiers. We honor treaties that date back some 200 years, despite no one being alive who signed those treaties. Many of us would love to be taxed for the things we are solely and individually responsible for. But we are American citizens and thus bound to a collective enterprise that extends beyond our individual and personal reach. It would seem ridiculous to dispute invocations of the founders or the greatest generation on the basis of a lack of membership in either group. We recognize our lineage as a generational trust, as inheritance. And the real dilemma posed by reparations is just that, a dilemma of inheritance. It is impossible to imagine America without the inheritance of slavery. As historian Ed Baptist has written, enslavement, quote, shaped every crucial aspect of the economy and politics of America, so that by 1836, more than 600 million, or almost half of the economic activity in the United States derived directly or indirectly from the cotton produced by the million-odd slaves. By the time the enslaved were emancipated, they comprised the largest single asset in America, $3 billion in 1860, more than all the other assets in the country combined. The method of cultivating this asset was neither gentle cajoling nor persuasion, but torture, rape, and child trafficking. Enslavement reigned for 250 years on these shores. When it ended, this country could have extended its hallowed principles, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all, regardless of color. But America had other principles in mind. And so for a century after the Civil War, Black people were subjected to a relentless campaign of terror, a campaign that extended well into the lifetime of Majority Leader McConnell. It is tempting to divorce this modern campaign of terror, of plunder, from enslavement. But the logic of enslavement, of white supremacy, respects no such borders. And the god of bondage was lustful and begat many heirs, coup d'etats and convict leasing, vagrancy laws and debt peonage, redlining and racist GI bills, poll taxes and state-sponsored terrorism. We grant that Mr. McConnell was not alive for Appomattox, but he was alive for the electrocution of George Stinney. He was alive for the blinding of Isaac Woodward. He was alive to witness kleptocracy in his native Alabama and a regime premised on electoral theft. Majority Leader McConnell cited civil rights legislation yesterday as well he should, because he was alive to witness the harassment, jailing, and betrayal of those responsible for that legislation by a government sworn to protect them. He was alive for the redlining of Chicago and the looting of black homeowners of some $4 billion. Victims of that plunder are very much alive today. I am sure they'd love a word with the majority leader. What they know, what this committee must know, is that while emancipation deadbolted the door against the bandits of America, Jim Crow wedged the windows wide open. And that is the thing about Senator McConnell's something. It was 150 years ago, and it was right now. The typical black family in this country has 1/10 the wealth of the typical white family. Black women die in childbirth at 4 times the rate of white women. And there is, of course, the shame of this land of the free, boasting the largest prison population on the planet, of which the descendants of the enslaved make up the largest share. The matter of reparations is one of making amends and direct redress, but it is also a question of citizenship. In H.R. 40, this body has a chance to both make good on its 2009 apology for enslavement and reject fair weather patriotism, to say that a nation is both its credits and its debits, that if Thomas Jefferson matters, so does Sally Hemings, that if D-Day matters, so does Black Wall Street, that if Valley Forge matters, so does Fort Pillow. Because the question really is not whether we will be tied to the somethings of our past, but whether we are courageous enough to be tied to the whole of them. Thank you.
All right, very well said. Okay, now they need to sit down somewhere. Sit down. They're sitting there trying to act like, oh, there's nobody alive that was a slave or nobody alive that owned slaves. What about all these treaties? What about all these treaties and everything else that he mentioned? They are such hypocrites. Okay, they are such hypocrites. Please pay attention. There was nobody still alive who lynched those 150 Italian men, but they gave those people's descendants reparations. Okay? Please pay attention. There was nobody alive who had anything to do with the bombing of Pearl Harbor that specifically killed those Japanese people. Okay, but they gave money to their descendants. I find it all interesting, but let me continue. Let me continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. And here's what D.L. Hughley had to say. I saw this video and just thought I'd share it.
I'm so tired of these white victims. I don't know what the male victims. I don't know what the fuck to do. White people have never wanted to live around black people, ever. They enshrined it in law. It's enshrined in law. So to pretend like this is a phenomenon that's associated with an action we did, or that it's Brown versus Board, separate but equal, all these things. Jim Crow were all about white people separating themselves from us. And it didn't have anything to do with crime. Before it was black on black crime, what was it? So trying to pretend like it's associated with some action that we've taken or some spike in crime, it's associated with racism. You decided you were too good to live around us, and you moved and took all the resources with you. Everybody always talks about the criminality of black people, why they shoot each other. 80% of black people kill black people. Virtually the same percentage kill white people. Right. But if you want to keep children safe instead of transgenders, you need to keep them away from white men, because white men, at a higher percentage than anybody else, are the biggest molesters, pedophiles, and rapists in the. But no one ever talks about that level of criminality. Yeah, okay. White men are the biggest rapists, pedophiles, and look it up right now. Who does it the most? But they always talk about us shooting each other. What about you? What were Catholic priests? What were they? What were the Boy Scout leaders? What were they? What were coaches? What were they? We're talking about institutionally. There's a class right now that teaches children. If you ever get white children, if you get abducted, look for a black man. So if you're protecting our kids, protect them from the motherfuckers that are holier than thou. The people that are the most religious, the people that wear the robes and the uniforms. They're the ones raping kids. And virtually every crime in the United States, 2-to-1 was committed.
But there's a higher percentage of whites than blacks in America.
But no one ever adds percentages when we're talking about welfare. If you look at the institution, there was a kid at Stanford. He raped a girl. A judge didn't want to ruin his life. People always talk about how black people are are sent to prison for murder, for instance. They're also 50% of the people who are exonerated. If you look at a system that if I do it, it's criminality. If you do it, it's frivolity. Donald Trump admitted to grabbing someone's pussy, which is sexual assault. And you called it locker room talk. Cuba Gooding Jr. is fucking, it had to go to trial for it. So now you get to decide what crime is. But there is no disputing the fact, per capita, white men do the highest percentage of rape, pedophilia, and sexual assault in this country.
Okay, so you all heard that at the end of the day, and I want you to pay attention to how Vlad tried to throw in, well, there's a higher percentage of white people in America. What does that have to do with anything? He said what he said, and he didn't tell any lies. Okay? Didn't tell any lies. And I want you to pay attention because now he wants to quote statistics. But when they talk about black on black crime and black people being criminals and all of that, do they talk about statistics and percentages? No, they don't. Okay, they don't talk about that. That's what they don't do. All right, so please pay attention. Trying to defend it. There is no defense. And exactly what DL said about telling these little white children to go look for a black man, that's exactly what they tell them. So if we're such threats and criminals and thugs and black men are such brutes, why are they telling their children to go look for one? Because they know that 9 times out of 10, somebody that's going to harm their children will look just like their children. Okay, please pay attention. And here's the receipts.
What do you do if you get lost?
Find a big black guy.
You find a big black guy, and what do you tell him?
And that I lost.
That you're lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd find my home.
Okay.
All right, please pay attention. Please pay attention. That's right. No lies detected. I see Juju talking about DL's not raccooning today. Okay. Well, you know what I always say, beloved, even a broken clock is right at least twice a day. Please pay attention. Okay. So that all been said, I want you all to see this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay. Remember the Excelsior Springs rapist, Timothy Hazlitt Jr., whom I did a video on about maybe 2 years ago now. And then one of his victims, or not a victim, but someone who was supposed to testify, turned up dead. Well, there's an update on him. They finally charged him with murder after he'd been charged with a series of felonies. But let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to take you back down memory lane to the first reports on it when I did the TikTok. This was actually my first TikTok. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. The man pictured in the photo behind me is Timothy Hazlitt Jr. He's from Excelsior Springs, Missouri, which is 30 miles northeast of Kansas City, Missouri. He's currently in police custody because on October the 7th, a woman fled from his home where she barely escaped with her life. She was naked, wearing handcuffs, and had an iron collar around her neck. She said that he had snatched her from Prospect back in September and held her captive ever since. She said that she had been raped and tortured, and she clearly appeared to be malnourished. Now, she also said there were other victims and said that sadly they didn't make it. So I'm sure he killed them. She also said that there was a vicious pit bull that guarded the door so that they couldn't get out. When she escaped from the house on October 7th, she let that dog out and she ran for her life. And thank God she did. Now, police aren't given a lot of details, but they do say that he'll likely be tied to other crimes. They've been gathering and collecting evidence for days. They've also started to board up the house where the victim fled from. Now, people who know Timothy Hazlitt have said that they're surprised, that he didn't seem like this type of person. There was a woman who dated him after she met him on a dating site. And she said that he was clean cut and that he was very nice. And that, in fact, another person said they were shocked to see him and looking this way and for them to be describing him as some sort of mountain man because he'd never looked this way in the past. She also said that if these crimes are true, that it was likely a mental break. I want you to pay attention because when these people who are clearly psychopaths, and as far as I'm concerned, inherited something called the Iceman inheritance. When these people are out here on the prowl and killing melanated people, there's always some narrative being painted and pushed that they had mental illness. The mental illness card is usually what's played. Well, at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything mentally wrong with him. He clearly is nefarious, okay? He had a child in the home. Now, the woman escaped after he left on October the 7th to take his child to school. which was only 2 to 5 minutes away. So she didn't have very much time to act. The first neighbor that she went to didn't even want to help out of fear that he would kill her as well as the victim if he found out. So this is all such a crazy story, and it's still developing. We don't know exactly all of the details yet, but trust and believe, I will be staying, in the breast of everything that's going on with this story. So with that all being said, okay, so now you may remember that story because, in fact, I also brought Bishop Caldwell, who lives in Kansas City and who was one of the people that brought attention to the fact that these Black women were turning up dead, okay, and missing. I had him on the show for an interview. So anyway, like I said, now he's finally been charged with murder, which he should have been a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned. Now, here's a report about one of the people who was supposed to testify who turned up dead.
In a rape and kidnapping case in Excelsior Springs, Janie Crossdale was found dead along the Missouri River, and police wanted to talk to her about Timothy Hazlitt Jr., who faces 9 felonies. Investigative reporter Matt Fleener is along the water tonight with new details in the case.
There are big questions tonight about why the remains of a woman here in Kansas City were found about 100 miles downriver. News Chapter 9. Over the area, the Missouri Highway Patrol says kayakers found the remains of Janie Crossdale on this island in the Missouri River in Saline County, Missouri. Crossdale's face was on billboards across the metro earlier this year. Police said she may have known more about a 22-year-old woman escaping the home of Timothy Hazlitt Jr. last year. That woman told police she was raped and tortured for weeks inside Hazlitt's home.
So many people dropped the ball.
Bishop Tony Caldwell last year called attention to several missing women in Kansas City's east side, saying police could have done more to find those women. The original survivor in the case telling police a man named Timothy picked her up along Prospect Avenue.
So many people just, I don't want to see it, I want to hear it, literally. A lot of people just wanted to ignore it.
The fact that she was a potential witness in the case that's pending against him, they're going to look at him hard.
Meanwhile, attorney John Pacerno says the discovery of Crossdale's remains allows police to ask new questions of Hazlitt.
The defendant is a good source of incriminating information. He may have something in his house or something on his phone that would implicate him.
To be clear, there are no new charges against Hazlitt, but prosecutors do say they continue to seek justice not only for the original survivor, but Miss Crossdale as well. Matt Fleener, KMBC 9.
All right, so here's the last video, and this is the most recent update. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Brutal and barbaric. Choice words from the Clay County prosecutor adding murder charges to an ongoing case. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Katz.
And I'm Laura Moritz. The victim, 36-year-old Janie Crossdale. Police found her body last year in the Missouri River in Saline County. Tonight, Timothy Hazlitt Jr. faces charges for her death and the violent kidnapping of another woman.
KMBC 9's Brian Johnson is live at the Clay County Courthouse in Liberty. And Brian, you've read those charging documents, what detectives are saying about this case.
Yeah, Chris Lara, well, the probable cause outlines in painful, gruesome, graphic details all of the crimes Timothy Hazlitt Jr. is accused of doing. Among those crimes, he now faces a 10th charge, including murder. And today we got a lot of details about those charges. Janie Crossdale's body was found last year in Saline County, Missouri, in a blue barrel similar to those found at Hazlitt's house in Excelsior Springs. The prosecutor says the evidence indicates Crossdale may have been shot inside the barrel. Police say Crossdale was arrested for commercial sex work. That's how they believe Hazlitt met her. And Hazlitt had images of her inside his home. He's charged with her murder. Now, Hazlitt was already facing 9 other charges, including felony rape, kidnapping, and 2 counts of assault after a 22-year-old woman allegedly broke free from his Excelsior Springs home. That woman ran to a nearby home, said she had been taken hostage, held in a small room in the basement, bound, beaten, and raped. Hazlitt now faces 4 counts also of sodomy and endangering the welfare of a child. Today we learned 16 different police agencies followed 100 leads. They recovered 100,000 images and video files of evidence.
The physical
psychological, and sexual torture described by the defendant's surviving victim is brutal and barbaric.
And the woman told investigators that escaped, she told investigators that he confessed to her, Haskell confessed to her that he had killed 2 other people. Of course, if Timothy Hazlitt Jr. is convicted of these charges, he could face life in prison without parole or the death penalty. Live in Liberty, Brian Johnson, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Brian, thanks.
At the end of the day, of course, he killed more people. He's a serial killer. Those women who were turned up dead and missing and all of that, he's the one who did it. He was going to Prospect late at night and snatching those women up. That's what he was doing. I absolutely believe it. Okay? I absolutely believe it. Now, with that all being said, how is it not a hate crime against Black women, says Miss Evie? I don't know, but he's a serial killer, that's for sure. Okay, and that's probably why they wouldn't call it a hate crime, because serial killers, they usually tend to pick a certain race of people. Either it's usually people who look like them, but sometimes it's people who don't, like Jeffrey Dahmer. Sometimes they're out there looking for people who don't look like them, right, and thinking that'll keep them from getting caught. And sometimes just because they're racist, which I believe Jeffrey Dahmer absolutely was, and so was Hazlitt. And so now when you really think about it, he absolutely should be charged with hate crime. All right, so let's get into it. Now I'm going to play for you the audio of a psychic talking about Trump and this attempted assassination and what's in store coming down the line. And as I said, some of what she said kind of goes along with what I said. Okay, please pay attention, because she said there's going to be another attempt, but it won't be shooting. Now, remember, I told you that in my dreams, the 2 dreams that I had, it was the Secret Service and they used a laser, some sort of laser beam. Okay, so please pay attention. I'm going to put something up on the screen because I don't have permission to use this. I'm just going to play the audio.
Judgment, harsh sentence, the fool risk-taking. No.
Now, let me just let you all know that what she's doing is she's doing a reading. Okay, she's doing a reading with tarot cards.
I say they don't have the right person. I think the person who actually did it has escaped. Crime of opportunity, yeah. So no, they don't have the right person. They don't have the right person. Well, let's just quickly ask 5 cards. Will they find the right person? Will they find the right person? Will they find the right person? Just quick. Will they find this 5 card reading?
I'm going to fast forward just a little bit.
Will the right person be named? That's a better question. Deal organized. Again, a deal organized. More than one involved. Yeah, we're absolutely on the right track. Somebody might squeal. Deal organized. This might be a deal with law enforcement. The DNA evidence. Know too much. Want to talk. So somebody will spill the beans. More than one involved. And I'm thinking that this fellow that they announced, this 20-year-old, he's innocent. Somebody's going to spill the beans. Wow, these cards are on fire. Okay, let's clear that. I want to ask the cards, will there be a second attempt? This is a true story, and I wish I had proof. 2 days before yesterday, I wanted to do a reading. Will Trump be assassinated? Will Trump and kind of talked it over with my husband. We thought, we don't want to get demonetized, and that's kind of a touchy subject, and I don't know. And it was on my mind for 2 days. And so when it happened, I was like, next time I get a nudge to do a reading, I'm just going to do it. I don't care what YouTube says. All right, will there be a second attempt on his life? Will there be a second attempt, and will they be successful? Will there be a second attempt, and will they be successful? Will there be a second attempt, and will it be successful? Will there be a second attempt? And will it be successful? Mental struggle or illness. Marks left behind. Well, that's his scar on his ear. And that almost looks like a little bit of an ear. Suspicious activity. So now they're scouring the internet. They're looking at all the dark webs and everything for any kind of suspicious activity. Moon, no. Hidden, unclear. 2 crimes connected. That's the second time we've gotten that. That could be two hits. Accomplice or had help. Web of lies. Well, look at that on the web and with suspicious activity. So I think they're looking at all the dark webs. Deeply involved. Moon, no, or water. Interesting. This is moon. So I'm wondering if it's like the next new moon or something to do with the moon, with a moon cycle. Organized meeting. Judgment, harsh sentence, and strategy and planning. So I'm getting no. There will not be a second attempt. I think they are organized. They are the strategy and planning, web of lies. They're on the suspicious activity. I'm thinking that they are also, the moon is at night. So it's things that are at night, hidden at night. I think they're really looking at that. We might hear of people who are maybe arrested for plotting. We might hear that. Accomplice or had help. We might hear about people that, encouraged this initial shooter, and they might take that whole system down. The fool, risk taking. Person of interest. Yeah, I believe they're going to find the person. Justice, legal trial. I think somebody's going to be charged with, right? Where did he get the gun? Where did the person get the gun? Who planned that? I mean, it's a big plan. It's not just something you're like, oh, I have to go to Walmart and pick up some socks and, oh, look at that, a rally. I think I'll just jump on this roof and take a shot. I think they are going to find the web of people that are behind this. And I'm thinking.
Hold on, beloved. Sorry. Accidentally clicked on something.
Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope beans more than one. A little bit of an ear. Suspicious activity. So now we might hear of people who are maybe arrested for plotting. We might hear that. Accomplice or had help. We might hear about people that, encouraged this initial shooter, and they might take that whole system down. The fool, risk taking. Person of interest. Yeah, I believe they're going to find the person. Justice, legal trial. I think somebody's going to be charged with, right? Where did he get the gun? Where did the person get the gun? Who planned that? I mean, it's a big plan. It's not just something you're like, oh, I have to go to Walmart and pick up some socks and, oh, look at that, a rally. I think I'll just jump on this roof and take a shot. I think they are going to find the web of people that are behind this. And I'm thinking Antifa. Aggressive attack. Somebody might attack him. Stalker being watched and cannot see clearly. So this aggressive attack, he might be physically attacked.
Now, I don't agree with her when she says possibly Antifa. I don't think Antifa has anything to do with it whatsoever. I don't think Antifa has anything to do with it. I think it's an inside job, like I previously told you, but let's continue.
Attacked. might be hurt somehow, but I'm not getting like any kind of real assassination attempt or death, and you saw there's a death card in here, stalker being watched. I think that they are going to find out this person of interest, the fool, risk taking. I think they're going to try and dismantle all of this before it can happen. It might take a month. We have the moon here, and so a full moon cycle, it's a month cycle. We have another moon here as well. We might see that Trump kind of contracts a little bit until they find out who this is. I'm not saying he's canceling things, but he might contract a little bit. Maybe the venues will now be not open air, so they're making them smaller in arenas, that kind of thing, where they can have metal detectors and whatnot. Watch the employees and whatnot, because this cannot see clearly right here. So this is telling me that I think we might not see him in open air venues where they cannot see clearly anymore. World, end of situation or ruined. DNA evidence, there is a connection. Tower, chaos, or in a building. I think hanged man, delays or sacrifice. I think there might be some kind of attack on him, but it will be a physical attack. Because we have chaos or in a building, and there is a connection, and that's what I'm getting. Hangman, delays or sacrifice. I think that's. I don't see another shooting. I do see some kind of physical attack. So it might even be like a bomb in a building, right? It could even be like a vehicle drives into a building, or.
Now I need you all to pay attention and put on your critical thinking hats, because she says that at first she said she didn't see a second attempt, but now she's saying that she sees a building and she doesn't see a shooting. It's something else. She said maybe a bombing in the building. I'm telling you, it's a laser. That's what I saw in my dream. And if you remember, I told you it was inside of a building. Okay, it wasn't outside like the incident that happened on Saturday. I told you guys it was inside of a building. And then when I saw the person who did it, and I told the other Secret Service agents that it was, in fact, a Secret Service agent. And then we went looking for the person because I showed them which direction in the building that he went to. And then they suggested that we go to the parking garage. And then they were chasing me out of the building because I wasn't supposed to see what I saw. And in fact, they were all in on it. So please pay attention, because now she's saying that something happens in the building, some sort of attack. But let's continue.
But it's something that he is attacked somehow. Maybe his car is hit. But this does say, or in a building. So there is something. Two crimes connected. So it's almost like, well, we didn't get him this time. Let's try again. I don't know. I can't say that they're going to be successful. I'm not getting the death card. I'm not getting the ending card. We see that there is a problem here. There's a connection. There's two crimes committed. We have chaos in a building. We have DNA evidence. So they're going to connect them. World, end of a situation or ruin, but we aren't getting death. Now, this hanged man, delays or sacrifice. This, if there is a second attack on him, he might pull out. He might just say, I can't do this. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. My family wants me alive, and I'm not doing it.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, mind you, she did this reading after the attempted assassination. She did this after the fact. So she said the next time she doesn't think they're going to use a gun. And like I said, I told you all that it was a laser that I saw. And the Secret Serviceman who did it, he had it under his sleeve, like where a cufflink would go. Okay, that's where he had it. He aimed it at Trump, and then Trump fell forward. And that's when he walked casually through the crowd. and everybody gathered around Trump to see what was wrong. And I told the Secret Serviceman that he went that way. I saw exactly who did it. So please pay attention, because now she's in the building, and that's confirming what I said as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so with that I've been said, everyone please like and share. Like and share. Everyone please like and share. Well, I was going to show one more video, but I'll show that tomorrow. All right, let's get up out of here. Okay, Storytime says The Simpsons said he would be deleted. Okay, Divine X says that Secret Service director has some explaining to do. Absolutely. Okay, the Crazy Beach Era said they are just distracting us while we are focusing on the Queen. If we have trolls in here, let's get rid of them, moderators. All right. So with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Everyone, please like and share this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Claudette says, great broadcast, Queen. Thank you, beloved. All right. Juju said, love you to life, and I love you right back. Okay. So everyone, please like and share. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in this evening at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my spiritual channel, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. And there is the link right there, starting at 6:15. Don't forget, I'm going to have a guest on, and we're going to be talking about spiritual cloning, monitoring spirits, and other things. Okay, so you don't want to miss it, especially if you've been tuned in for the earlier broadcast this week as well as last week. Okay, so everyone please like and share. Thank you in advance. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the Queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the Queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the Queen. Why they hating on me?